Welcome back to Only Talk Sports. So we talk sports every single day, or at least we try to. I'm your host, Jeffrey, and subscribe to the channel if you like sports content. Hit that notification bell so you never miss another video. Week 7 in the NFL season is over, and let's break down all these results and see which ones were the biggest surprises of the week. Cardinals beat the Saints 42-34 on Thursday Night Football, and the Arizona Cardinals are now 3-4, and the New Orleans Saints are 2-5. Andy Dalton had 361 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. And for the Cardinals, Kyler Murray had 204 yards and a touchdown. Obviously, both teams' offenses play well, but the Cardinals scored a little bit more than the Saints, and they got the win. The Cincinnati Bengals 35, Atlanta Falcons 17. The Bengals are 4-3, and the Falcons are now 3-4. The Bengals played really well on offense in this game. And obviously, the Falcons are kind of struggling this season now that Matt Ryan has moved on to the Indianapolis Colts. And for the Falcons, Marcus Mariota only had 124 yards in the air and a touchdown. And for Joe Burrow, he had 481 yards and 3 touchdowns, with a lot of those yards going to Jamar Chase, who was his teammate at LSU, and the Bengals playing fantastic on offense. The Dallas Cowboys, 24, the Detroit Lions, 6. Dallas Cowboys are now 5-2. The Detroit Lions are 1-5. Dak Prescott returned in this game, and he threw his first touchdown pass of the season to Peyton Hendershot. Dak looked pretty comfortable in this game. Jared Goff for the Lions had 228 yards and 2 interceptions, and Dak Prescott had 207 yards and a touchdown. And obviously, Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott had a lot of yards on the ground, and the Cowboys got the win, so it's looking good for the Cowboys now that Dak has returned. The Tennessee Titans 19, the Indianapolis Colts 10. The Titans are 4-2, and the Colts are 3-1. The Tennessee Titans are really good at winning these lower scoring slugfest games, especially when they got Derrick Henry at tailback. For the Colts, Matt Ryan had 243 yards, a touchdown, and 2 interceptions. And Ryan Tannehill had only 132 yards to the air, but again, Derrick Henry had 128 on the ground. And that is really good news for the Titans that Derrick Henry is playing so well, because Ryan Tannehill has been decent at quarterback, but the Titans are going to go only as far as Derrick Henry can take them. The Washington Commanders 23, the Green Bay Packers 21. The Commanders are 3-4, and the Packers are 3-4. So Aaron Rodgers is under 500 so far this season. He had 194 yards and 2 touchdowns. And on the Commanders side, Taylor Heinicke had 201 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. Green Bay tried in this game. They just could not get the win, but they're really struggling this season. Another team that's really struggling that no one thought would. The Buccaneers are 3-4 now. They lost to the Panthers 21-3. The Panthers are 2-5. Tom Brady threw for 290 yards, but no touchdowns or picks. And on the Panthers side, since Baker Mayfield is out, P.J. Walker had 177 yards and 2 touchdowns, but the Panthers ran all over the Buccaneers, and the Bucs could not get any offense going. Obviously, Mike Evans had a big touchdown drop that was really bad for the Buccaneers, but still the Buccaneers would have lost anyway, even if he had caught that pass. They're really struggling right now, and they're going to have to get things back on in track. The New York Giants 23, the Jacksonville Jaguars 17. The Giants are 6-1, and the Jaguars are 2-5. Obviously, the Giants did squeak by in this game, but they're still winning and they're playing good football this season. Daniel Jones at 202 yards and a touchdown, and on the Jaguars side, Trevor Lawrence at 310 yards, but it was not enough because they could not get the win. The Baltimore Ravens beat the Cleveland Browns 23-20. The Ravens are 4-3, and the Browns are 2-5. The Cleveland Browns are struggling this season. Obviously, Jacoby Brissett is trying. He had 258 yards, and Nick Chubb had 91 yards and a touchdown on the ground. But Lamar Jackson only had 120 yards to the air, but he had a lot on the ground, and the Ravens did find a way to get the win over the Cleveland Browns. Up next, we got the New York Jets, another surprise team that's at 5-2. They beat the Denver Broncos 16-9. The Broncos are really struggling at 2-5. Russell Wilson has not been able to inject life into the offense, and they are really struggling. Obviously, he was out in this game, and Brett Rypien had 225 yards and interception. So whether it's been Brett Rypien or Russell Wilson, the Broncos are really struggling on offense. And on the Jets side, Zach Wilson had 121 yards through the air, but they had a lot of yards on the ground, and the Jets got the win in a close game. The Las Vegas Raiders 38, the Houston Texans 20. The Raiders are 2-4, and the Texans are 1-4-1. The Texans are really struggling. Davis Mills at 302 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. So he's playing pretty decent, but the Texans cannot stop anybody on defense. And the Las Vegas Raiders side, Derek Carr had 241 yards and a touchdown, and Josh Jacobs had 143 yards and 3 touchdowns on the ground. He's playing fantastic for the Raiders. And the Raiders again are 2-4, and the Texans are 1-4-1. Seattle Seahawks 37, the Los Angeles Chargers 23. The Seahawks are now 4-3, and the Chargers are 4-3. Seahawks are playing better football this season. Geno Smith at 210 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. They had a lot of yards on the ground. And for the Chargers, Justin Herbert at 293 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception, but it wasn't enough, and the Seahawks got the win. Kansas City Chiefs 44, the San Francisco 49ers 23. The Chiefs are 5-2 and the 49ers are 3-4. Obviously, the 49ers now have Christian McCaffrey from the Panthers, but it wasn't enough for them to get the win. Obviously, Jimmy Garoppolo played pretty well. He had 303 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. And obviously, McCaffrey had 38 yards on the ground, so they started to use him some. But the Chiefs, with Patrick Mahomes at 423 yards, 3 touchdowns, and an interception, and the 49ers could not stop the Chiefs on offense, and the Chiefs got the win. On Sunday Night Football, the Miami Dolphins are now 4-3, and they beat the 2-5 Steelers 16-10. And obviously, Tua Tagovailoa did return, and he played pretty decent in this game. He had 261 yards and a touchdown. He could have had a couple of picks, but the Steelers dropped the passes. And on the Steelers side, Kenny Pickett had 257 yards, a touchdown, and he had 3 interceptions that the Dolphins picked him off on. And no one scored in the second half, but the Dolphins won in a slugfest. And the last game of the week, on Monday Night Football, the Chicago Bears beat the New England Patriots 33-14. The Bears are 3-4 and the Patriots are 3-4. Obviously, Justin Fields had 179 yards, a touchdown, an interception, and 82 yards and a touchdown on the ground. He played well. But on the Patriots side, Mac Jones did return this game, but he only had 13 yards and a pick, and he was struggling and did not look comfortable coming off of his injury. So they benched him and brought Bailey Zappi back in, and he had 185 yards, a touchdown, and 2 interceptions. But he didn't play too well either, and the Patriots are really struggling. So the Patriots and the Bucks and the Packers are all 3-4 and they're really struggling. And you have definitely some surprise teams like the Eagles who had a bye, and the Giants and the Jets. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens in the NFL in the coming weeks. Subscribe to the channel if you like sports content. Like this video down below. Comment down below what you think about the results in Week 7 in the NFL. And I will see you next time.